Okay, great stuff. So question 90. So here, this is sort of saying that what would be the double entry for an issue of indirect production materials? So say, for example, we needed some things that we needed for production, but they're not direct costs. So maybe some cleaning costs or some, no, they're not necessarily cleaning because that would be overhead, but we need them, but they're not maybe screws or something that's indirect, but not quite in the product. It's interesting. I can't think of anything right now. So you will definitely be debiting the production. Well, it's an overhead, I suppose. It's indirect, so it is still an overhead. So we're debiting the production overhead, and we're crediting, if you like, because it is still to do with materials, and so we're crediting this sort of material cost control account, which is very much, if you like, a liability or an accrual, so to speak. So really, we are debiting the production overhead because it is a production overhead. I think there's a slight error here. And then you have the materials control account here. And this makes sense. This is sort of B. So you have the overhead, production overhead, and you have the material control account. Then when we look at B, this question here, what's really happened here is this. Whenever we do labor, direct labor, that goes straight to wages, right? So you will debit labor and credit wages, no problem. That's fine. But as you carry on making this product, eventually you're going to transfer stuff out of labor into a work in progress because these are now goods that are getting to be finished. So it's all about processes, right? So you'll start with labor and then no problem. We put that into a wages control account. That's a wages control account. And then once the goods are now ready, we now transfer all the material, labor, and overheads into work in progress. And that goes there. And then from here, it's going to go into finished goods. So you can see the process. So really what we're doing here is to credit labor and to take that into work in progress, right? Because it's asking what happens in a cost ledger. So we're kind of gradually getting to our final product. So this is the process bit. Now this bit here says what would happen if we had overabsorbed overhead. So imagine we have these overhead. So really what would have happened was we had production overhead and we had the production overhead control account, right? So we have production overhead, it's an expense, and we have the production overhead control account, no problem. Imagine we had put 50,000, but we find out it's 10,000 too much. I mean, we've already done this to the income statement. So the production overhead control account, which is what we have left, is too high. It says it's overabsorbed. So we reduce it, which is why we debit the overhead control account and in effect credit the profit and loss account. In a way, we are crediting our profits, returning £10,000 to our profits, right? So we debit the production control account or the overhead control account, whatever overhead it is. We debit it because the liability is too high, right? And so the answer there would be D. Yeah, cool. Great stuff. That's question 19.